Yeah. So when at the highest levels of rowing, I don't know if this is true for everybody, but it was true for me. Like to get to the logical conclusion, to get to an Olympics, to be able to make an A final, be a medal contender, you have to row until you don't like rowing anymore. It's taken to such an extreme that I certainly wasn't tough enough to get there and still be like excited about getting back in the boat after the A final in Rio. And so for me, work has always kind of been this like outlet outside of rowing where I felt like I was always kind of a bit hedged. Where if it wasn't going so well on the boat, I kind of had some other area where I could do well and like something to think about that wasn't rowing. And then kind of on the flip side, like rowing was sort of this outlet outside of work where, when I was getting started in my career, I had a lot of anxiety about like, oh my God, is this forever? Like, am I kind of have I given up on being young and being an athlete? And so being able to continue rowing, for a few years was an amazing experience. So the two complemented each other well. And I think that like we've already talked about, like the skill sets definitely overlap a ton. But yeah, I'm not sure if that answers your question, but it's a interesting feature of what it was like. I to be honest, like there were a lot of very trying times in trying to balance work and rowing. And in particular, my last 2 years of trying to train while working at Citadel were very, very difficult. And I I only got through it because I have a really flexible team and they totally bought into what I was trying to do on the water, and I could kind of lean on years of experience in doing this. But yeah, it's definitely a stretch.
Yeah, I mean, I think by all accounts, you know, you're tremendously successful, even in that last period, especially with the bronze at the World Championships. So, if that means anything, I think a lot of people would give you an A for your job on that
In
one.
my mind, I think of it just like it was all bonus
Right.
because I like missing London sucked. I was like really disappointed after that. I thought I was going to make it, and I we were literally the last boat in the world to not make the cut for London. I made the U.S. team. We went to the final qualifier to get a wild card spot in the Olympics. They took the top two, and we came third. And so I was just like so distraught after that Rio was like a vendetta. It had to happen. And I, once we made that team, we were good. And so the mindset then shifted to, okay, we want to be the first Americans ever to race a medals race in the lightweight double. And so that was like the big goal. And we did it. We came fifth. And so after Rio, I was kind of like, I have checked the box. Like I'll go down as one of the good ones, and like I don't really need to prove anything to anyone anymore. Like I've proved it to myself. Like we've taken this as far as it needs to go. And so my last 2 years of rowing, like getting to race a single, and then getting to have another go in the double with a guy who's honestly just been a longtime friend of mine. Nick and I go way back, and like a huge part of that was just kind of getting to row the lineup that never got to be. And so I more think of the last 2 years as a bonus round. I can't be too disappointed.